The question of the moment is, should you still continue with the purchase that you agreed to complete on prior to the COVID-19 pandemic and the subsequent lockdown starting? So this is for any properties that were in the works prior to lockdown. Well, very firstly, we don't know what's going to happen to the market. Evidently, at the moment, the market isn't going to be where it was because market price is very much dependent on supply and demand. Whilst there may be supply out there, the demand can't go out to see it to make sure it's a property that they want to buy. So in the very short term, this is going to drop prices or stop people from selling properties. As well as this, mortgage lenders on new applications aren't lending what they used to be lending, i.e. they're dropping the loan to value, or they aren't giving the good interest rates, or maybe they're saying the property value is actually 20% less than what it was a couple of weeks ago. Well, in reality, they don't know what the value of the property is right now in today's market. And remember, a valuation can only be given on the date that there is a willing buyer and a willing seller who are prepared to exchange contracts. So they are mitigating against their risk. And just remember, they are in a time where they may not even be getting any mortgage payments, or a lot less of the mortgage payments that they were expecting. So they're struggling too. So they don't want to be investing in or lending on properties that could pose a risk long term. So in the short term, this again is preventing buyers from buying at the levels that they once were, and therefore that will have an impact in the market. Do we know how long that's going to go on for? No, we don't. But we can make some considerations based upon what we do know. So these are the questions that you need to be asking yourself. Number one, will your lender still lend at the purchase price that you agreed, at the loan to value you agreed, and the interest rate that they agreed with you? Number two, can your solicitor still continue with the purchase, or are they now closed until after this period is over? Number three, have you done searches? If you haven't done searches, can your local council even go and get the searches done for you, or are you going to just have to wait until normal service resumes? Number four, and this is really important, if you were to go ahead with the purchase, does the property still align with your original goals? That's super important, because if it now doesn't, then no, why would you buy it? But if it does, and it's going to create that income, well, okay, maybe it's still worth it for you. What was the reason you decided to buy this and agree that offer in the first place? Does it still work? Now, all of the above things that you need to consider, and if you can answer yes to all of them, then you can move on to the next questions. So question number 5 is, does the seller still want to proceed? It's a question. If they don't want to sell anymore, well, then you haven't got a deal. Number 6, you then need to think about, can you and should you negotiate a discount, as you will have a void period potentially for the next couple of months if you can't find a tenant. Now, as an aside, I do have clients who are absolutely able to find tenants at the moment because letting agents have stopped operating, so they've gone direct to landlords, and I myself have just let 2 of my properties in the last week, so have evidence to show that in some places tenants are still looking for properties, but again, you yourself need to take that action to find them, and you have to do everything remotely. So there's an element of trust there. You can't be going and meeting people. Social distancing must be enforced, and you can only really help people who are in desperate need. For my 2 tenants, well, the ones who moved in long term are key workers, and they were desperate for somewhere to go. And my others were going to be Chinese students who were going to be made homeless over the holidays because they had nowhere to live now that the university is closed up until next semester. So they can't go homeless, you have to give them somewhere to live, and they can literally just open up the door with a rucksack full of stuff and move in. So potentially you might have a void period if you can't figure out a way of getting tenants in remotely. So you're going to need to negotiate a discount because obviously you're going to have to pay for that. But also you might want to be negotiating a discount if you feel like there's risk in the market and there might be a drop in price. So could you offer a solution if you are trying to negotiate a discount that's win-win for all parties involved? Or can you postpone up until the point that can you postpone the purchase up until the point that this lockdown is over and you can take another review at the market? Now, that's completely at your discretion, and we don't have crystal balls, so we can't see how the market is going to perform. Look, if you are locking in a mortgage that is still fine for the next 5-10 years at a price, perhaps the purchase price isn't as much of a worry to you right now if you're getting a rental income in that's still going to give you a good net profit. Again, that's for you to decide. But on the flip side, if you were trying to do a development right now and flip it on within the next 6 months, probably going to be pretty risky. Similarly, if you're buying a commercial property and hoping for commercial tenants to move in, that also might be pretty risky too. So it goes back to your goals. What I'm saying is, what is the risk? What is the risk to you? Does this property still give you that income that you want? Because rental values haven't necessarily gone down. Again, these are things that you need to be thinking about. And these are things that, of course, are really serious to take into account. But there isn't a right or wrong here. These are things that we've been discussing in the Members Club. Every night in the Members Club, 8 p.m. UK time, we get together and we discuss deals that are going on. We discuss people who are letting out their properties. I've seen some awesome things come through where sellers and buyers have agreed great discounts and also to help each other out over the period so that eventually that property can go ahead at a win-win for everybody. But that's what you've got to come to if you still want to proceed. Again, these are considerations that you will need to know, and every single property is individual and will have its own circumstances. Think forward 10 years. If you didn't buy this property, would you regret it? Only you will know that. If you want to come and discuss it with a group of like-minded people, you can come and join the Members Club. I would absolutely be glad to have you because these are the conversations that we're having. But those are some considerations that you need to be thinking about whether you should be moving forward or not.